gonna lay it out for you. But you gotta understand, I didn't think it'd go this far. Nobody did. So, my man, he's been through a lot, but this broke him. It all started when he got back from a trip to Vegas. Dude was happy as hell, you know. He was out there spending big, celebrating life, planning a surprise for his girl, engagement ring and everything. He was ready to lock it down. When he got home, though, it was bad. Real bad. He said he got to the crib, and something felt off. He couldn't find his keys, so he's ringing the doorbell, but no one's answering. Then he hears something, low music, like H-Town or some other R&B joint, and he knows something's up. He sees his girl's car parked outside, so she's definitely home. But the vibe? All wrong. So he goes around the back and finds the door unlocked. He steps in and the smell hits him. Incense, weed, a bunch of empty beers. Then he sees it. A pair of Timberlands on the floor, size 12, not his. And then, the G-string swinging on the ceiling fan, like it was flung up there with a slingshot. That's when it really hit him. He said he froze for a second, trying to process it all. But then he heard laughing, her voice and another dude's. That's when he went upstairs.
For the record, the person you're speaking of is Mr. Jones?
Yes, that's correct. He crept to the bedroom door, opened it just a crack, and there it was. His girl, with another dude. They're all cozy, candles lit, wine glasses in their hands. She's rubbing on him like she forgot my mans even existed. Man, I can't even imagine how he felt in that moment. He said he just stood there, paralyzed. Couldn't move, couldn't say a word. Eventually, he just backed out and left the house. But when he got outside, that's when the rage hit. He called his friend Horse on the phone. Me and Horse were on our way to the bodega. I could overhear him, his voice shaking, told us to meet him. I could tell something was wrong, but I didn't know it was this bad. When we pulled up, he looked lost, mad lost. He told us what happened, and then he pulled out his piece, a Glock with 9 in the clip. He said, "I need y'all to back me up. I'm going back to handle this." I tried to talk him down like, "Bro, it's not worth it. Let it go." But he wasn't hearing it. He was locked in. So we rolled back to the house. The dude, the guy she was with, was just leaving. My mans parked in the back so they wouldn't see us. When the guy walked out, homie ran up on him. The dude tried to play it cool, but the homie wasn't having it. He pulled the Glock and told me to grab the guy while he went inside. I tried to stay outside with the dude, but Horse pulled him and forced him back into the house. And look, I know I should have went in to try to stop what was happening, but I would have blown my cover. So I stayed by the door, but I could hear everything. She was screaming, begging him to calm down. Then I heard a shot. My heart dropped. I finally ran inside and saw the dude on the floor, clutching his side. Esco. Man, Esco had snapped. He grabbed her, yelling, asking her why she did it. And then, there was another shot. This one hit her. I ran to her, tried to stop the bleeding, but it was too late. She was gone. My mans was standing there, shaking, with this look in his eyes like he didn't even recognize himself anymore. I told him we had to go, but he wouldn't move. He just sat down next to her, held her in his arms, and started crying. Then we heard the sirens. Somebody must have called the cops when they heard the gunshots. Esco handed me the MAC-10 and told me and Horse to get out. I tried to pull him up, but he wouldn't budge. He just sat there, holding her, whispering something I couldn't make out. I could hear Horse and the cops trading bullets. I climbed out of a side window as the cops came through the back and the front. The last thing I saw before I left was the homie kissing her forehead and pulling the Glock to his own temple. I didn't want it to end like this. I didn't think he'd really do it. But he was broken, man. He loved her. He gave her everything, and she tore him apart.
And the weapon? The MAC-10? Where is it now?
I tossed it in a nearby storm drain. I didn't want to get caught with it. But it's retrievable.
Luckily, Mr. Jones survived his self-inflicted wound, but his story paints a different picture than yours. His story has him and his lady being ambushed by 2 intruders. According to him, they were home when 2 men rushed into their home. A fight broke out and his lady was shot in the process. Mr. Jones claims that he was able to wrestle the gun away from one of the assailants and got off a shot before the other rushed out of the back of the house.
Look, I'm just telling you what I saw. I don't know who actually shot the dude because I was outside, like I said. But the lady, she didn't have to die like that.
If what you're saying is true and Mr. Jones is indeed the perpetrator, then we can have him in cuffs quicker than a New York minute. Thanks for the clarification.
Hey, I'm just doing what y'all pay me to do.
Recover the weapon and bring it in so we can put this guy away. Again, great job. I knew you were the right man for this assignment.